going on? This is Patrick here, joined shortly by my good co-owner Eric, as we are here in the draft lottery. Now, let me just pull this up real quick. As you know, obviously it's starting shortly here. But yeah, so I'm going to start simming a game here while I talk about this draft lottery. It's about to start pretty much any moment here, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, so let's go right into it. We'll sim a quick and easy game. And then we will get going. So let's do the how about we do some teams that are in a draft lottery, for example. Let's do the Kings and the Senators. So once again, this is the live stream of the 2020 draft lottery. Where are the Kings? I swear I just passed them. There we go. All right. Let's make that 20 minutes. And I do have the live draft lottery streaming on my phone. I don't have another monitor set up at the moment, but I might end up putting it on my computer because I'm only getting audio from my phone, since technically the TV is on that's connected to the cable. But yeah. Let's pull this up on my laptop. But yeah, so like I said, Eric and I discussed this earlier. And as soon as he's ready, he'll join us momentarily here. Okay, I got it to stream on my phone now. So we got all the managers. It's funny, they're showing all the managers right now sitting at their own homes. It's funny. It's just like the football draft. Everybody, all the managers and stuff are at their home, and they're this is pretty funny. As you can see, obviously the game has started for the Kings and the Senators. All right. That's funny. Martin Brodeur is the New Jersey Devils representative. He's sitting at his desk at his house, currently getting interviewed by NBC analyst Catherine Tappan. And any second now, Eric will be with us.
What's going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside Hartford, Connecticut, joining the stream finally after a few minutes there. I apologize for the wait, everybody. But how is it going? Anyone watching the stream right now? Hope you're enjoying the day. This is going to be fun. We're going to watch the hockey, draft lottery. And of course, we got some more fun going on. We're going to discuss other things other than just the draft lottery. But here goes nothing. This will be a fun time.
Definitely. Like I said earlier, I just happened to put the Kings and the Ottawa Senators in this simulation game that we got streaming just because, they might be potential teams, of course, obviously. And the
Yeah, why not put the
Senators,
Sharks in there? Sharks got a good pick.
oh
Oh,
yeah, the
wait.
Sharks gave away a pick to the Ottawa Senators, but I think it's actually going to start at 8:30, um, because it says the coverage for NHL Live is still going until 8:30. But that's fine. I'd rather be on now and have a pre-thing set up so we're ready to go by the time it starts than it. Um, so the
But all
selections
right.
are as follow: Detroit number one, second and third Ottawa, fourth Los Angeles. Hold on one second. Oh yeah, they're reviewing the trades as well. This is interesting.
I'm going to take this moment to just kind of discuss this previous week, what we've done for videos. Well, we got, a minute here. So earlier this week, I posted 3 different videos this week. I did that 2020 NFL rule changes. 5 different rules came into effect / no longer are in effect. There was something that came out about the 2020 MLB season rules that are going to be implemented for the 2020 season. I did a video discussing those in detail. It's about a 20-minute video. If you haven't heard about them, definitely check it out. And then, of course, I did my history of for the Kansas City Royals this week. Very quick video, only 23 minutes. And I did do a 4th video as well. I did the players draft before Steph Curry. Definitely recommend checking that one out if you are interested. And if you do check it out, again, please don't trash me for, putting Harden before Curry and saying, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. I do like Harden. I do like Curry. I think the two of them are roughly equal. You can make an argument either way. I just want to put that out there. And then, of course, Patrick did his NASCAR video of Talladega. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, without like the Geico
The
500.
Talladega Raceway there, and then he did and then he did the professional sports teams in the state of Connecticut, whether they're minor league, independent league, or yeah, that's it, minor league or independent league. So it's pretty cool. We got a few videos out. Of course, this live stream's coming up, and Patrick has another video going up tomorrow or tonight, depending on when
So
you get
two
this.
videos will be tomorrow. The Atlanta one, which I had said the other day when I put the Talladega up, the Atlanta race the Atlanta race results from like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then of course the NWSL video because they're about to start that tournament out in Utah. So that'll be just pretty much a quick look at an overview video of the setup and the matches and stuff because it's like a group elimination thing, and then that'll probably be a pretty quick video. But yeah, that's definitely tomorrow's videos.
How's it going, Andrew? You got an interesting comment there. Mr. Andrew here said, quote, hairy armpit, end quote. Got anything to say to him?
Oh man, hairy armpits. It sounds like Tyler Sagan of the Dallas Stars. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna bash the Dallas Stars again. We
You
have a
know
good
who else it sounds like, man? You know who else it sounds like?
what?
Eddie from Ed and Nettie when he stuck carpet to his armpits.
Oh my god, dude, that was a classic
Early
show, man.
90s kids will remember that one.
That was definitely a classic show, man. Ed and Eddie. Yeah, that was good.
We got an LOL with the laughing emoji from Mr. Andrew. Shout out to you, Andrew.
Yo, freaking. So this game right now that I'm simulating, Ottawa and Kings tied at 1. Oh man, my God, Gary Bettman on the live thing. Looks like he has COVID.
Boo!
Dude,
Let me
I
stop.
swear his hair
Okay,
looks.
here.
I swear his hair looked like it changed colors.
Hey, good news, Mr. Andrew. We just gained a sub from Andrew. Thank you for
Oh
subscribing.
man, I
We
appreciate it,
appreciate it.
man.
We always appreciate it. We try to make sure that everybody enjoys it, enjoys our video. We have a lot of content that coming out here. It's going to be all different sports. Definitely follow in every Friday. We're trying to do live streams every Friday. They'll be about different topics. This week just happens to be the NHL, draft lottery. We got kind of fortunate that it happened to be today, and neither of us are working right now. So, yeah, we're excited. Looking forward to it. Thank you for subbing. We appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Definitely. If you know anybody, Andrew, that's also into sports, feel free to recommend this channel because every week as well, obviously, either Friday or Saturday we do a live stream. And then every day we're pretty much trying to put out a video, whether it's football, baseball, hockey, maybe basketball or a NASCAR recap of a race. Definitely get the word out there for sure. So we're trying to definitely grow this thing, and yeah, we just passed 50 videos last week. Um, we've had this channel running for how long would you say, Eric? Have we had this channel
Couple months. Couple
running?
months.
Couple months. It started rough, and then pretty much the
Right,
last two
right
or three
about.
weeks, it's been wow. What the heck, Ottawa? Since when did they hit that hard? That was ridiculous.
We started the channel back in around late February, early March, and then we had the whole sports pause, so we kind of took a bit of a quick hiatus. We kind of discussed the future of the channel, and then we started doing other things. And if you look at the channel, you can kind of see we got the history of series going. If you're if you're into that kind of stuff, history of is a great series. I would highly recommend. Of course, I'm the one who does it. They're like longer videos, so if you don't have the time, I wouldn't recommend it. But if you got the time, they're totally worth it to sit down and just kind of watch. I do have to make a quick correction, though. I did mess up with one thing I noticed. So when I was doing my history of the Chicago White Sox, I mentioned that they acquired outfitter Shoeless Joe Jackson from the Philadelphia Athletics. That is wrong. They got him from the Cleveland Indians. That is my first correction I will make. I will put that in the description later on, too. But, Andrew, just out of curiosity, you follow the NHL, and if so, who's your favorite team?
Or any of the sports you follow. What are your other favorite sports teams? Let us know. And we won't trash them. Well, no, we won't trash them.
There's only one team we'll both trash.
Yeah, but there's a
And I highly
1 in
doubt you're a
31
fan of them.
chance of that happening, so we're 1 in.
Maybe he's from Seattle.
Hey, man, there's a lot to look forward to with that. Did you see the renderings that were posted the other day on what was it, their Instagram or their Facebook? I mean, I've
Oh,
seen them.
God.
I've seen them before.
Andrew, I feel for you, man. I feel for you. Don't worry.
What does
When I
Andrew
followed
say?
basketball, I was a 76ers fan. So I feel the garbage teams. He's a Detroit Red Wings fan. I feel for you. At least you got to see some
Hey,
glory
man.
days.
Hey, they got some. They might not be on the best right now, but man, credits to them though. The history in that franchise. I mean, and now they got Steve Yzerman with them. Um, they can only go up from here. Put it that way. Now, if anybody out there is a Senators fan, they can only go even worse. But maybe from this draft lottery, they'll have something. But yeah, we'll see.
For what it's worth, Andrew, I do intend on. So, for my history of series, I was telling you before. I don't want to keep going in detail about it. My probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, I will be doing the history of the Detroit Red Wings. So that might be something you want to listen to. I don't do
man.
pictures or anything like that. You just see me talking, so it might get boring. So you might want to read his podcast. But if you're a Red Wings fan, you definitely might want to pop into that. I try not to go into too much detail about like the recent 5 years type of thing, just because we all know the past 5 years. So you'll notice I'll go more detail in the older days, which is perfect for a Red Wings fan like yourself. Patrick and I are both in our mid look young to mid 20s. So we don't know a lot of these older players from like the 40s and stuff like that. So it's exciting. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What'll happen is I'll end up going live, and if you have a Twitter, I would definitely recommend following us on Twitter. Or if you have an Instagram, you can follow us on Instagram. And what I'll do is I always post before I do, like, what I do for the history ofs is I do them live. So you can, if you follow us on Twitter, you can see my notification. I'll say going live for a history of ... at X time. So it's always exciting. We usually get a couple people who hop in, and I don't read the comments all that much because I'm reading my script, but I do glance at the comments. So it's always exciting. I appreciate the interactivity. You know, I appreciate having people talking to me. And if you notice I make a mistake or mispronounce a name, definitely feel free to tell me. I always put a disclaimer during the videos, and I kind of say I mispronounce names sometimes. That's part of what I am. When I was younger, I had a bit more of a speech impediment, and I've kind of been going on, and I've been getting better with it. I don't know if Patrick knew this one, but I used to not be able to say words like watermelon. So, or
No,
soldier.
Soldier boy.
So, like,
But
there are things. Yes. So our Insta is Heartland Sports. I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
right?
it's on. You go to the homepage on our YouTube channel, or if you open another tab,
Oh, yes.
or another thing on your thing, it's on there's a link to it if you go on a laptop. Uh, yeah, pretty much. The Twitter is more active normally than the Instagram though. But yeah, we just got started with the Instagram a few weeks ago, and
Tell you what, for you, we'll make sure that we put a in the story. We'll make sure that we mention when the Detroit Red Wings video will go up. So what'll happen too is every week, typically it's Saturday night or Sunday morning, we post our schedule for the upcoming week. It'll be on Instagram. So as long as you check it out, you'll be able to see, okay, so this is when they're going to do it, and then you can kind of see, okay, so hypothetically, so Tuesday they'll be doing the history of the Red Wings, so you can keep an eye on that type of thing. Speaking of, Patrick and I have been discussing this upcoming week's schedule of things. We have to figure out a couple more things for what's going to go on specific dates. But right now we only have a couple days locked into place, so I'm not going to start releasing like one or two different things and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do on Wednesday and Friday, which are the 2 days we know. And then we have like a bit of a floater thing for Monday, Tuesday. We don't know which one's going to go which day. But we'll definitely, if we can figure it out by the end of the video here, we'll say it, and then we'll post a picture, like I said, tomorrow on the Twitter and the Instagram pages if you guys are following us. But yeah, it's exciting. So I don't know where we're at right now with the draft lottery. Is there any update from you, Patrick?
no, it's going to start at 8:30ish. They're just going over past
Okay.
draft results or past players and stuff that made big differences. Yeah, it's looking like 11:30, and even the guide obviously says just NHL Live draft lottery is to 8:30 to. No, so yeah. Um. Yes,
For the record, I don't have cable.
Yes, I have cable.
Shout out to us in 2020, man. Cable's not really getting a lot of people. Now, I do have MLB TV and I do have the NHL TV packages. So when we do get Major League Baseball back on, Patrick and I will be able to watch the baseball games. Obviously, we won't be able to watch the same games because there's no point in the two of us having two different accounts. So if like our teams are playing, we're not going to be able to watch it at the same time. But typically that's okay because we typically have different work schedules. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how the season's going to go this year for baseball. You know, if you start off slow, you're done. You can conceivably see a team like the Detroit Tigers make the playoffs this year, especially if they have an expanded playoff field, and that's what scares me. Just like we could say the freaking Canadians or the Blackhawks knock off the 5 seeds, which is Pittsburgh and Edmonton, correct me if I'm wrong on Edmonton, and make the freaking playoffs despite being 500 or below. Like, come on, man. No, seriously, like, that would be whack. If we see, like, when I did all my research on the history of the Canadiens, which will be my video for the history of series next week, I noticed, see, I got French Canadian blood in me, so I learned a lot about their past and how they're French Canadian and all that stuff. And I became a bit more of a Canadiens fan. So, like, now I'm rooting for the Canadiens more than I have in my life, and it's just like, damn, I want them to do good, but at the same time, I don't, because they don't belong in the playoffs, and they'll get slaughtered by whoever the 1 seed is if they win the first round. If they beat Pittsburgh in the first, whatever the heck they're calling it, like the play-in round or whatever.
Play-in round, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is the lottery on right now? Is the lottery getting the results in, man?
Hold on 1 second.
Nah, Andrew's saying that Detroit got 4 in the lottery.
Hold on 1 second.
Which is interesting.
Dude, I literally just had it. Hold on. I mean, I'm watching it on NHL, man. It's not really... It's still on a commercial.
Ottawa's got number 3.
So they're giving a 3 right now. Ottawa Senators.
Dude, are you freaking kidding me? A play-in team is getting the number 1 pick, ladies and gentlemen. A play-in team is getting the number 1 pick. Wow. Wow. So the LA Kings got the number 2 pick. The Ottawa Senators got the number 3 pick from the trade with the San Jose Sharks, and a play-in team is getting the number 1 pick. What is this garbage, man? How much you want to bet? So I didn't say this to Patrick, but there was a post on Instagram, and the NHL on NBC Sports or whatever the heck it's called made a comment saying, "Oh, hey, who's going to get the number 1 pick?" And I said, with the way the NHL is, Pittsburgh's going to get it. It's conceivably possible now for Pittsburgh to get that pick, because if they lose to the Canadiens, knowing how the NHL is, they're going to make sure Pittsburgh gets a number 1 pick, because they always they give them all these handouts. Freaking Sidney Crosby shouldn't be on the Penguins. This is insane. I think Detroit should have the number one pick. They're getting screwed over. The freaking I don't care about the Senators. Screw them, man. But the Kings are sitting at number 2. The Red Wings are sitting at number 4. What is this
Oof,
garbage?
man, that's
Like,
crazy.
what is tanking, man? You can't stink anymore. You stink and it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Rigged, man. Like, this is rigged. Now I don't want the freaking Hurricanes to lose in the first round or the Penguins to lose in the first round. Because if the Penguins lose in the first round, they get to keep their pick. If the Penguins win in the first round, they lose their first round pick in a result of the oh my god, what's his name trade? Zucker from Minnesota
Mark
trade?
Zucker.
Yeah, Zucker. Because they gave up the first round pick for him. Or was it the Bukestad trade? I don't remember. They gave up they don't have their first round pick if it's not in the lottery though. That much I know. Man, like Detroit should be getting a top pick. Like, come on. Detroit should definitely be getting a top pick. That's just kind of ridiculous. Detroit's been Does Detroit have a good farm system at least?
We
I
did the
don't even
Griffins
know.
won the Calder Cup like what 3 seasons ago I think it was, or 2 seasons ago. Last year it was the farm team of the Hurricanes. I'm pretty sure the year before, or if not the year before that, it was the Griffins. Yeah, they have a decent farm system. I mean, they have decent players now. It's hard to produce, man.
Man, oh man. So here's a good one for you. So I'm asking both you, Andrew and Patrick here. What's your guys' opinions on Dylan Larkin? You think he's still a potential franchise player, or you think he's just a bust at this point? Now, Patrick and I did have a video discussing the Red Wings 2020 season. If you're interested in that, Andrew, definitely take a look at it. But just since you're here right now, let's do it.
I think my video's delayed like 10 seconds. Oh my god. Dude, if a team wins the Stanley Cup and gets that number one, bro.
They can't. It's a team that loses in the play-in round that gets number one pick. So let's just say that let's just say I don't know what one it is, but let's just say because of how rigged the NHL is at times, the Canadians beat the Penguins in the first round. The Penguins are eligible for the first overall pick. The Canadians are no longer eligible for the first overall pick. Yeah, no, Dylan Larkin's not a bust. I agree with you on that. I don't think he's a franchise player. I think just playing in Detroit's gotten to him. I think he just doesn't have as thick a skin as Eichel, because we've seen Eichel and Larkin. They're both similar players in similar positions. Eichel's better than Larkin. I'm not comparing the two of them. I'm just using him as an example. Eichel's still doing all he can. He's still carrying the team. Larkin's kind of just there. Like, Larkin's good. And when I'm looking at players, I never look at the plus-minus ratio, because if you're on a garbage team, you're going to suck. You're going to have a horrible plus-minus, and that's true with Larkin. But you know what scares me about him is he hasn't been scoring as much as he used to. Now, again, part of that is teams are going to game plan around him and say, oh, hey, look, this is their best guy on offense. Let's stop him from shooting as much as we can. But what are you going to do? Like, you can't just game plan block Larkin from shooting. But he's got to be able to adapt, and he hasn't done it. Eichel did it. McDavid did it when he was the only player in Edmonton. Larkin obviously hasn't done it, so he's not a franchise player. I think the hype around him, he hasn't lived up to the hype, but he's not a bust. I mean, you guys, if you guys really do have a good prospect pool, maybe you can try to bundle the number 4 pick, and a prospect and a decent player. I don't know who's really left on the parent team that has a value in a trade that isn't, Larkin, and try to trade up for number one. I mean, it's doable. Stranger things have happened. I mean, with the way the NHL season is, maybe he'll fall to 4. Anything's possible. Honestly.
By the way, Eric, have you seen? Oh, before I say this, so yeah, I know my opinion on Larkin was basically if between the next year or two he doesn't like pick up the way he's playing now, no matter if it's with the current players or new players come in, I was gonna say he was gonna go to a bust. If there was nothing shown in the next 2 or 3 seasons, because obviously he's still a young player, but we've seen plenty of young players that burst out and completely go dry after a few seasons of being in the NHL. But by the way, so what I was gonna say was, have you seen any of the top draft picks? I mean, the number one to go is obviously likely to be Lafreniere.
Well,
Um,
I haven't. In previous years, I've more looked at it, but this year I wish I have, but I haven't because I obviously I know him, but other than him, I don't know a lot. I just know guys who I'm a Flyers fan. I know guys who the Flyers would be looking at. So guys who are in like the Flyers range area of like late teens to the 20s.
right, right.
That's just how it is, but who is Stuzzle? I don't.
I
Like I
don't.
said, I
I
don't know.
haven't compared to last year. I haven't researched the players much. I just know I've seen a video on Lafreniere and he looks pretty damn good. Um, but
I mean, Stuzzle. If you're saying you want Stuzzle at 4, he's got to be a solid player.
I gotta do some research on him to be honest.
Also, Andrew, just so you know, I have been trashing Franz Nielsen a lot. I don't know your opinion on Nielsen, but if you watch a few different videos, you'll see me trash Franz Nielsen. Oh, well, I'm not surprised with a last name like that. He's German, man. So he's in the Dell League, which is the top German league. Okay.
Hey Andrew, I'm sure Andrew know who Pavel Datsuk is, man. That guy was a legend when that guy was in Detroit. Pavel Datsuk, dude. You could look at highlights of that guy on YouTube, and man, his stick handling skills were insane. Like, I think he's still. No, I don't think he's still playing. I don't know. But,
In late March of 2018, Patrick and I went up to Buffalo and we got to watch the Red Wings actually play against the Buffalo Sabres. That was a fun game.
and guess who lost? Buffalo, because they suck now.
Now, what's interesting too about that
Man,
game is Casey Middlestat made his NHL debut that day.
that is true. And he got his first assist, too. First point.
His
National
first
Hockey League
point.
point.
Yeah, we thought, when we were driving home, it's like, oh man, maybe that Middlestat guy will pan into. No, he didn't pan out. He didn't do anything. He stinks right now.
Yeah, Datsuk still plays in the KHL right now. He's only 41, but he's probably.
Only 41, man.
I,
Not
dude, I thought he was
everyone's
older. I thought he
Yager.
was like
Not
45, dude.
everyone's Yager.
Dude, he played 15 years in the NHL with the Red Wings, bro. Like, that's pretty. Did they put a banner up for him? Probably, right?
Probably.
Or if not, they're waiting for him to retire first or something. But oh, that's crazy, bro.
Man, I'm just wondering when Yager's gonna officially retire.
That's a good question. 'Cause he's like what, 45 now?
No, he's
Dude,
47 or
the oldest
48.
guy I saw to play in the NHL,
Gordie
or
Howe.
was it the NHL? Was he the one that was 51 or 52?
Yeah, Hartford Whalers,
Okay,
man. Gordie Howe
sir.
playing with his sons. That's how old he was. He had his 2 sons on the team with him.
Oh
Gordie
yeah,
Howe,
I
man.
remember those pictures. I've seen those pictures.
Yeah, what's interesting too is my dad actually met Gordie Howe a few times.
Are you serious? Wait, what? Wait, what?
You never knew that?
What did you just say? Wait, what did you just say?
My dad's met Gordie Howe.
Your dad has met Gordie Howe. Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yeah, shook
Please
his
tell
hand.
me he has pictures.
He doesn't have a picture of him with Gordie Howe, but he does have a signed picture from Gordie Howe where he wrote
Okay,
his
that's
name.
pretty. It's still pretty cool, but dang, I didn't know that. I mean, I knew the whole thing about how he,
So,
used to.
so for anyone watching right now, like I said, this Heartland Sports is based in Connecticut, and when I do my videos, I say just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. We're just outside, Hartford, Connecticut. So in the 80s, my dad worked security for the Hartford Whalers, and obviously Gordie Howe wasn't playing then when my dad was working security, but he did he would still show up to the games here and there, and he would do other things. He would do like charity games. So there was a charity game one time when Gordie Howe was there, and he went out onto the or they were playing they played like a baseball game or a softball game it would be, and my dad played against Gordie Howe in softball. So that's where he met him one of the times. The other time he met him at like one of the charity events. But remember, again, he was working, so he's not gonna like walk up to Gordie Howe and be like, "Hi, Gordie Howe, how are you?" Oh man, my dad would be jealous of that. My dad's a huge Verlander fan. He's a big Tigers fan. I haven't really met anybody. I haven't met any athletes or anything like that. I mean, I think the athlete I got a best chance of meeting is Saquon Barkley. Because Patrick and I went to school with a guy who's good friends with Saquon. So, I mean, anything's possible. That's all I'm going to say.
Dude, we also went to
Maybe
school
George
with.
Springer.
You remember the NBA player? What's his name? Allen Iverson.
Of
His
course I know
his
Allen.
his cousin went to school with us, or was in our junior high school. You know that, right?
You have to text me a name. I didn't know that.
Yeah, her last name was Iverson too. She's like, yeah, that's my cousin. I'm like, oh, really? That's actually pretty cool.
I don't know if I buy that.
I mean,
I'm about to have to look at the yearbook.
people were asking her, man. Like, people all over the grade were asking her and stuff. And she was like, yeah, he is. And, like, a lot of people didn't believe her, but it's like, I mean, I guess she could have just been fibbing with the last name, but my dad.
So, Andrew, out of curiosity, are you just an all Detroit guy? Detroit
Yeah,
everything?
at least
If
your
so,
dad can relate to him if he's an all Detroit guy.
my dad's just a Tigers fan. What are you talking about? He just likes the Tigers.
I don't know what to say about the Tigers, man. I don't really. They're just there. I mean,
You know what? Tigers are better than the Braves. I'll give them that. Not right now. Not right now. I mean, quickly backpedal and say not right now.
that's still debatable.
You know what? I will take Ty Cobb over any player on the Braves all time.
That's because they're. Ty Cobb.
I will take Hank Greenberg over
Sure. What about
Freddie
Hank
Freeman.
Aaron, man? Hank Aaron.
I'll take Hank Greenberg over Hank Aaron. Actually, no, I'll take Hank Aaron over Hank Greenberg. I take that back too. I still would take Ty Cobb over. When I watch baseball, I like having a guy who's got speed. Speed and defense. That's Ty Cobb. So I don't care if he's a dirty player. Ty Cobb's one of my favorite players all time. I wish I got to see him play, but obviously, no
Hey, you know
way
what's
in heck
funny
I can
is
see
that obviously the current Phillies manager now. What's his name? Why is it off my thing? I just had his name.
Joe Girardi.
Yes. So I obviously remember how he was the Yankees one for a long time. I was just watching a video
Yep.
that was 30 minutes long of all the rejections of him as a Yankees manager. Oh my God,
Yeah,
dude,
I saw that video.
it's like every exact same thing is the same exact thing. It's like either a missed call or like a strikeout or a miss whatever, and like he does the same exact thing. He just runs up to the umpire, starts jumping and pointing, and then a lot of times we swipes the sand over home plate. That's actually pretty funny.
You know what's insane though? I was telling you this over the phone, but for anyone who didn't know this in baseball for this season 2020, if you violate somebody's 6-foot radius of space to argue a call, you're subject to immediate ejection, fines, and suspensions. So if you're Joe Girardi, you can't be doing that stuff. Joe Madden can't be doing that stuff. You can't get in someone's face this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
Um,
just like I don't even know what to say, man. Because everybody's gonna be
who's the
wearing
name?
face masks too, like the managers behind the
I don't
plate.
know about that.
I would think so, at least for the beginning of it.
I would think so,
Because they
but
can't just count on them not having it and being like 20 people or whatever behind, or 15, 20 people behind the in the dugout. They're just sitting. Like how are they supposed to social distance in that small dugout if it's 6 feet apart? Like
they're gonna probably have some guys in the clubhouse. Like normally, you have your four starters that aren't playing that day. You got them sitting in the dugout. I bet you they're just gonna put them in the clubhouse, have them do that. Take some guys who have off days, put them in the clubhouse to watch the game. Speaking of games, the game needs to be resumed that you're simming.
oh, my bad.
But
I was
it's going to be interesting. Like, it's really going to be interesting to see how this whole season plays out, if it even happens. And the other thing is, of course, there's players who are going to opt out of the season. Now, what's really interesting is we have a lot of bigger name players that might opt out of the season. Obviously, Blake Snell is one of the better known pitchers. Zach Wheeler might opt out. Trevor Bauer wouldn't shock me if he opts out. He's been really vocal on the whole thing. Um, and then, we get to the offense, and you could easily see we might have the 2020 baseball season with no Mike Trout or Bryce Harper because both of their wives are expecting, their firstborn. And just like Zach Wheeler, it makes sense. Like, why would you want to not be with your wife? Because remember, you're going to have to be practicing quarantine, and let's just say all of a sudden your wife goes in labor. Are you just going to are you just going to say, oh, sorry, hon, I have to catch a flight out there and then be quarantined for 2 weeks before I can even go and see you so I get to see our 2-week-old baby? It makes more sense to just stay home at that point. Um, oh my God, what was his name? Spencer. I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. When I wasn't really doing too much scouting on him because I knew the Tigers were interested in him, so it's kind of like a set in stone thing. I think he's got good potential though. You guys need a power slugging first baseman, especially now that Miguel Cabrera is up there in age. So, and he's going to be able to be fast tracked. So I think if you get him up in the majors by 2022, maybe he'll have a season with Miguel Cabrera as a mentor. You can't beat Miguel Cabrera as a mentor. That would be amazing. And then, around that time, you'll get Casey Miz popping up to the majors. He's got real potential, too. Matt Manning should make his debut soon. Detroit's got a good farm system. But the problem with the farm system is, what does it matter? I mean, you could have the best farm system in baseball, but it doesn't really help you if these guys don't pan out. Like, prospects don't always pan out. You know, I'm trying to think of a real big time bust in recent years. Um, Dom Brown for the Phillies was a big bust. He was like number one in the prospects rankings for a while. Oh, or you could be the Seattle Mariners and have Alex Rodriguez and David Ortiz in your farm system, give up on both of them before they even reach the majors. Freaking Seattle, man. Don't forget they picked Dustin Ackley before Mike Trout. Like, what are you doing, Seattle? I think the Tigers, though, you guys got a bright future. The thing with Detroit, too, is they're a bigger market. So Detroit has money, especially since baseball doesn't have a cap like other sports, like all other sports. So Detroit's going to be in a good position in a couple years where as long as, Major League Baseball is still profitable, I can see Detroit as a contender within 3 years. They obviously have a good scouting department. They have a good farm system, like I said. I mean, it's really insane to me that team, what was it, the 2014 rotation for the Tigers had Max Scherzer, Doug Fister, Justin Verlander, Anibal Sanchez, and who was the fifth guy? Blanking on the fifth guy right now. But all five of them got rings, and none of them were with Detroit. Like, that whole starting rotation was insane. And I was rooting for them against Boston, that's for sure. Yeah, I know. Like, I wish Scherzer wouldn't have left Detroit. I don't have a lot of Funko Pops in my house, but I do have one of Max Scherzer. And, Detroit really had some real potential. And, just imagine if Detroit hadn't thrown all that money at Prince Fielder. That was a regrettable contract, a regrettable free agency acquisition. And, yeah, it ends up netting you Ian Kinsler. And Kinsler is another guy I really like. Prior to him doing a few things, specifically causing Andrew McCutchen to tear his ACL last year. I'm a Phillies fan, if you can't tell by now. But again, that was just a heads-up baseball player. So Kinsler's a guy I like. He got a ring in Boston in 2018, so I was happy for him. JD Martinez, again, another guy that you guys plucked off of waivers in a minor league deal from Houston. Like, that's one of the few mistakes Houston's made in the past few years. Not mentioning the sign cheating scandal. I'm not going to get into that today. But, yeah, Yoenis Cespedes, man, that was another interesting one. You traded a bit for him, and then you end up getting rid of him like half a season later because it didn't work out. Man, Cespedes needs to learn how to play defense. That's the problem with him. He needs to learn how to stop running on cattle ranches and getting hurt. There's a guy I work with who's he's not a huge Mets fan. He's more of a Cespedes fan. He always wears a Cespedes jersey. And I was talking to him about Cespedes once. He's like, yeah, Cespedes needs to stop getting hurt and play. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned Rajai Davis. He was a good player too. And interesting fact about him, since this is Heartland Sports, he was born in the great state of Connecticut. One of the better players to be born in Connecticut. Of course, right now, the best player born in the state is George Springer, active. AJ Pollock's number 2. Rajai Davis is no longer playing baseball, but in his prime, he'd probably be right behind Springer. But it's tough to compare Astros players to anyone because we don't know how that the cheating scandal really affected players. What's interesting is, I'm not going to get into the numbers or anything like that, but I was reading a report back in February, mid to late February, and it was discussing all the guys on Houston, comparing their home versus away batting averages and everything, hard hit, contact, and all that good stuff. And from what the numbers showed, George Springer benefited a decent amount. Carlos Correa benefited big time from the cheating scandal. And Altuve really didn't benefit that much. Of course, he did, but he didn't. So it's going to be interesting. And then, of course, now we got the Red Sox cheating scandal, and the Yankees are now being accused of it. So it's not a good look for baseball right now. You got your past two of your past 3 World Series champs, have cheating scandals. And then, of course, you got the fact that the AL runners-up of the past 2-3 seasons have also had cheating scandals. Yankees right now are probably the favorites to win the World Series. They have a cheating scandal. It's just the AL needs to, not just the AL, but the league needs to step up and say, listen, we need to get rid of these World Series. We need to get rid of the World Series and say, nobody won the World Series that year. Nobody won the World Series. That's the problem, because if you're giving them a slap on the wrist and letting them keep their World Series banners, what do they care? I mean, if you told me, look, if Patrick and I are on a team and they say, hey guys, listen, if you guys can cheat, win the World Series for us, you'll still get $5 million. But then what'll happen is, a year after the World Series, we're gonna fire you and blame you as a scapegoat. I would do that in a heartbeat. You kidding me? I get to keep a World Series ring. My team's flying a banner above us, and I don't care if I'm disgraced. I get a World Series ring. I don't need to work for the rest of my life. I just get to treasure that World Series ring day after day. And the thing is, a lot of teams are going to be doing that. You're not setting the bar. You're not ruling with an iron fist. You're letting people walk over you, and that's part of what baseball's problem is. They're laying down an iron fist with the wrong thing. They're fighting the Players Association on the season right now, and the 2021 season's probably at risk because the collective bargaining agreement expires after this 2020 season. So we might not see baseball next year for a whole different reason other than the coronavirus, which would really stink for teams like the Tigers that have a lot of young talent that needs to mature. And, they were talking about cutting the minors, limiting the teams down to like 60 teams or whatever. That's going to really hurt. So it's concerning. But since we got the topic here of the video, my question to you, Patrick, is do you have the final order for the draft lottery?
Hold on 1 second. I mean, you're talking about what we have pretty much right now.
Yeah, like playing team A, B, C, whatever.
Yeah. So obviously the playing team, and then number 2, the LA Kings. Number 3, the Ottawa Senators. 4, like we just found out, first thing on hand, the Red Wings. 5, the Senators. 6, Ducks. 7, Devils, and 8, Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't know, but man, so like, obviously you could say there's a lot of things in common that Buffalo have with Detroit in terms of like their performance, but Buffalo, like, his bar is just getting lower and lower. Like right now, it's definitely lower than Detroit for sure. Especially with the playout drought they have, that's the longest in the league.
Well, the longest.
But the biggest thing is, if they get rid of one of their star players, which we've heard rumors about Jack Eichel to numerous NHL teams, I mean, yeah, Buffalo might receive 1 or 2 decent players, but if it's a veteran guy, they might be gassed out. If it's a younger guy, they may not fit in well. Like, I saw that thing you sent me the other day on, I think it was on Instagram. Like what, for example, NHL teams would have to give to receive Eichel.
Yep.
And teams like, for example, I'm a Bruins fan, the Boston Bruins. For example, the players that would cost them, in my opinion, based on what you sent me, would definitely be like, whoa, it's definitely not worth it. Because we don't want to give away any of our veterans that are still decent. And a young guy, obviously, like players like Torrey Krug, for example. There's a lot of rumors. Right, exactly. And he's probably going to leave because he's been in actually Boston 4 or 5 seasons now. And he can definitely tell it's just he's not gonna stay. He's not really. Last year was his last good year. All the stuff up until March when the season was put on hold was kind of a joke. So
in that video they mentioned the Flyers, and they had the Flyers offer was something along the lines of James Van Riemsdyk, Nolan Patrick, and what the heck's his name, Matt Niskanen. I would do that trade in a freaking heartbeat for Jack Eichel. I would do that trade in 1 second, and then I would just say, okay, Shane Gostisbehere, you're now my third line defenseman. No more trade rumors with you. You're staying on this team. You could easily pick up another Matt Niskanen free agency. Maybe not as good a leader. James Van Riemsdyk, you can get another James Van Riemsdyk. In that situation, I would just re-sign Tyler Pitlick. And just like, are you kidding me, man? Get Eichel on that team in Philadelphia. He'd probably be second line center because, Sean Couturier is such a good first line two-way player. And remember, at this point, Giroux's a winger. So Eichel on your second line, that would scare me. Upton was a solid player, but which Upton actually are you referring to? I don't remember which one was in Detroit. Obviously, Kate Upton's in Detroit, was in Detroit, but not anymore. Now she's in Houston.
Oh God.
I just remember her one quote there that's not safe for work, so I won't be mentioning it today. Justin Upton, okay, that's who I thought it was. I was thinking, no way it was the other one, BJ there. Stinks. Melvin up
By the
then.
way, Eric, I don't know if you saw, but earlier today they came out with the renderings. Did you see what they're doing to the Angel Stadium around it?
No, what?
They're pretty much all they have huge parking lots around it and everything. There's so much space for there to expand and develop. They came out with this plan, these renderings and stuff, and they approved it um, to basically build all these shops and stuff and everything around the stadium, the Angel Stadium. I can actually tag you it on Instagram. Um,
Okay, that's interesting.
but it's not going to be completed till like 2024. But that's, I mean, it's expected. But it looks pretty nice. And I checked. I was looking at the I was looking at the Angel Stadium like a satellite map to see like how big is the area around it, and it's huge.
Well, man, they got the best player in baseball, Mike Trout. So, shout out to Mike Trout for being a diehard Eagles fan.
I wonder if he
Must be
fishes.
said. No comment. Probably does. I mean, he's good friends with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a big
Yeah,
time
you saw that
hunter.
video of him when he was at that Top Golf place.
Oh my god.
And did you see that?
I did.
And he nailed that ball like he practically over the freaking. Oh God,
These guys are athletes, man.
he's
It's
strong, man.
not difficult to golf when you're doing like range shooting like that. Athletes will be able to kill it. Andrew, by any chance, if you're a Lions fan, at least you guys got Matthew Stafford. That's all I'm going to say for football. I feel for you. You guys need to get rid of Matt Patricia as soon as possible, though. That guy sucks. He's just bringing in all these former Patriots and bums at that. Oh man, this is
I'm not understanding this
interesting.
game that we're simming here. Have you seen the score?
It's like 10-5, right?
Yeah, I think now it's 10-5. The Kings just scored. That's ridiculous, dude. This would never happen in modern day. The score would still be locked at 0.
You're assuming that the goalies actually know how to play hockey. You're assuming that Caillou
Oh,
is good in net.
10-5.
Fucking Caillou there.
They gotta make his theme song when he comes out in the ice.
I would, if I was like, if he was in the minors and I was a sound operator for the opposing minor league team, I would definitely play the Caillou theme song when he skate out on the ice. I wouldn't even care. Hartford Yard Goats do that. They like troll opposing teams for walk up songs. It's pretty funny.
How many games have you been to there?
This one.
I was gonna say me too. That's a nice.
I don't know.
I like the stadium. It's nice. Obviously, it's got that downtown feel, and it's not really in the bad part of the city, so
Yeah, your Lions got a bright future. I mean, thank you guys for Darius Slay, but you know, Detroit, you guys got a really bright future. What scares me is the fact that this team is young, but Stafford's like what 31, 32 at this point. So you can't really call him the quarterback of the future. Maybe actually since quarterbacks have been playing for a while at this point. I'm a big fan of TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson's a guy who I really love, and come the time for fantasy football, I will be targeting TJ Hawkinson in my fantasy drafts. But you guys got a good offense, a good passing offense, and then you just got what's his name, DeAndre Swift in the second round. Solid running back. It's kind of surprising to me that they're giving up on Kerryon Johnson so early, but at the same time, Johnson's been injury prone and not as good as Swift. But Detroit needs to learn how to stop running, just like ruining running backs' careers. That's what's concerning about Detroit. Like they'll get these great running backs and they sign them and they suck. They suck for whatever reason. They enter Detroit and their careers are over. Detroit needs to like get a brand new running back coach and get someone that understands how to use running backs. But oh yeah, the receiving core in Detroit's amazing. You know, Marvin Jones, yeah, he's coming off a season-ending injury. I think it was a torn ACL. That's never good, but he was looking really good. What's the other guy? The other big name player? I can't think of him at the moment. But Detroit has a good receiving core. You guys got a good passing game. I don't know the O line that well for Detroit, but I mean Galladay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking on him. He's got top 10 fantasy potential. You know, speaking of fantasy football, he scares me though. I don't want to draft him because that touchdown regression rate, but progression rate. But I'm not talking fantasy today. I don't want to keep doing that. But you know, Detroit's got real good potential on offense this year. Defense, there's a lot to be desired. You know, they're leaving a lot on the table. Trading Darius Slay kind of hurt them a lot. But I mean, they did get Desmond Trufant in free agency, so that was a good pickup for them. He brings a nice veteran leader to the defense. I'm going to pull up the Lions roster for the heck of it real quick. Oh, a report just came out. Matthew Stafford seen working out with teammates amid the coronavirus. Well, these guys got to work out. Like, come on, every team's doing it. Every team's meeting up and doing things. It's just not sanctioned by the team, and they're doing social distancing. Oh, that's right. You guys got the big V, Halafaluti Vaitai. He's a solid player. If you're interested in him, just definitely. Vaitai's gonna make a couple. Like Vaitai's gonna make a couple bad plays in a couple games here and there, and he's a very quiet guy. So if you're like intent on watching him speak to the media, he's very quiet. He's a very soft-spoken player. Don't take it the wrong way. Don't get pissed off if he doesn't talk to the media after a game. I'm just giving you a quick warning from an Eagles fan to a Lions fan. But the guy's a good player if you give him the time. Oh, you guys signed Geronimo Allison. That's a nice pickup. Danny Amendola's still there. That's right. You still got Bo in the running back room. Ty Johnson's still hanging around. Okay. Yeah, there's some. That offense is good, but the defense, like I said, there's a lot to be desired on that defense. Like, it's Desmond Trufant and a bunch of nobodies and draft picks. You have two long snappers. It's always fun. Oh, Christian Sam, too. Sam's decent. And Jamie Collins, who always finds a big contract once he leaves New England and then does nothing. But that's what happens when you have, Matt Patricia. What is this? Lions all-time team. Interesting. Oh, I wish I saw that when they did that. It's always cool when they do that and they do these all-time teams. Fun fact for the day, I just learned that Dick Knight Train Lynn played for the Lions. I did not know that before today. Knew he was he was a Ram and a Cardinal. I didn't know he was a Lion. Oh my god, the Kings have been rallying in your game.
Surprisingly, it's literally only a little over halfway through the game because every period's 20 minutes.
But yeah, Andrew, if you are interested, we do have the history of the Detroit Tigers video up. That was 2 weeks ago. I've done 3 videos in the past week of history ofs because of technical difficulties. I think the Detroit video went up a week ago today. So if that's something that interests you, definitely give it a look. Um, I didn't mention a couple things, but I did mention a couple things, and of course I mentioned the perfect game that should have been. That one's just a heartbreaking game. I remember that. Uh, oh boy. But yeah, again, if you guys are interested, there will be 2 videos going up tomorrow, both by Patrick. One of them will be discussing the Atlanta race for NASCAR that happened a couple weeks ago. The other will be the what do they call it? The WMLS or something like that.
NWSL, National
Okay.
Women's Soccer League. Yeah.
With a very good picture for the
Oh yeah, true, true. I forgot about
thumbnail.
that. I'll probably start looking for that tonight.
No, it won't be Rapinoe. Don't worry.
Won't be Rapinoe, won't be Ertz, won't be Wambach because she's been out of the team for like what 6 or 7 years now, maybe 5.
Won't be Hope Solo.
Because she assaulted somebody. uh,
Hmm. So yeah, we do have some video ideas for next week, of course. Like I said, we'll get the schedule up and running soon. That will probably be tonight or tomorrow. We just don't sit here and we don't want to bore you guys with that conversation of us talking about that kind of stuff. It's just like, who cares?
do, 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 do,
Um,
do.
I will say that we intend on Wednesday. I know what we're doing Wednesday. If like when I did the video yesterday about the players drafted for Curry, it was the anniversary of the 2009 NBA draft. So I try to do anniversaries if I can of certain things. Um, so Andrew, I just out of curiosity, if you're still here watching it with us, what's your opinion on doing videos like that type of thing where I discuss players drafted before like a superstar type of thing? Like we've done 2 so far, of course, Mike Trout and Steph Curry. I don't really want to do too much basketball because it's not my favorite sport. And hockey's kind of weird to do, but I would do it. And I will be doing Tom Brady at some point. But other than that, it's all up in the air. And I'm not going to do anything too recent either.
I got a question for you, Eric. Whenever you're ready. This isn't baseball; it's hockey related. I was curious, what's the reason for the hate on Brady Kachuk?
What's the reason for your hate on Matthew Kachuk?
It's simple. The guy actually plays hockey unlike Brady Kachuk. And in my opinion, since he plays in the Oilers, which are a lot, I'm sorry, not the Oilers, the Calgary Flames, which is a better team than the Senators, I feel like in general he gets more hate, not only from me, but from other people. I mean, the guy's like, what, 19, 20 years old?
He's older than that. He's older than that.
Matthew Kachuk?
Yeah.
22. Okay, so he's practically the same age, around the same age of us. Um,
You ever watch Brady Kachuk play? The guy's a baby.
I mean, yeah, but like, does he get under the skin? Like Marjan does, for example?
Yes, but he can't back it up with good play.
So it just sucks, man. I didn't know he's 6'4". I didn't know Brady Kachuk was 6'4".
I still think I could take him in a fight.
Is that why he doesn't list his weight? Oh my God.
I think
This is
Keith Kachuk could
ridiculous.
take him in a fight today.
He's going. The high school he went to was Chaminade. That's interesting. He's from Arizona. Didn't I DM one time? DM him one time?
I've DM'd him like
Was
seven
oh, is
times,
that you?
trashing him.
So many hockey players are over 6 feet now. It's so weird.
Before I forget, shout out to Chris Pronger, who 27 years ago today was drafted by my Hartford Whalers. Shout out to him. 27 years ago today was drafted second overall by the Hartford Whalers. Just had to say it. Hugh Brass Bonanza. Can't play for copyright reasons, but
Man, eventually, if this goes in the upwards direction, just imagine having like a Brass Bonanza type intro. Oh man. Maybe I should make a video one day of the pros and cons of Connecticut. We got plenty of sports teams, that's what I'm gonna say.
Pro Connecticut, number one. It's not in the South. Pro number two. We get a winter. Pro number three. It is not North Carolina.
Cons. It rains too much.
Pro. It doesn't get hurricanes as much.
I mean, there's a reason.
Pro. We don't have millions of tourists flocking in spreading coronavirus right now.
Yeah, Florida.
Pro. Pro. In the past couple weeks, Connecticut has had the best recovery from coronavirus. We've had the fewest, like, per population cases. So,
That's interesting.
yeah,
I mean,
Connecticut's
of
been
what
doing
I
its
saw on that
best.
map this morning on the news, Connecticut is like the only state in the Northeast that's green.
Yep.
All the other
We got
states
a
are
nice
either like
quarantine going
slightly.
on. People can't visit from other states. It's us, New York, and New Jersey are in this nice group. You can't visit from out of state, which is very interesting if you live on a border.
Yeah,
But
I
I
actually
mean,
didn't think about that. But you can still like go over state lines and get gas.
probably. I mean,
Like, how are they gonna find out? Like, they don't have people at like all the
it's
entrances to
set points.
Connecticut.
It's
This
not
isn't
worth
like a.
it. Oh, it's not worth it. There's better things to spend money on right now.
It's true.
Oh, I got a hot take today.
What's that?
The Boston Bruins will not win the Stanley Cup this year. The Dallas Stars have a better chance.
Shut the.
They'll choke. Yes, see, he agrees with me.
Or
Boston will choke.
no, they won't, sir.
Yes, they will.
Flyers will
Didn't,
choke.
didn't they? Didn't they lose to the team that was last place in the NHL on January 31st, 2019? Didn't they
Yeah,
lose
but
to them
that's
in the
not the
Stanley Cup?
playoffs, man.
Didn't they lose to a song named after a woman?
Sir,
I'm curious. Didn't they?
it went to 7 games, man. It's not like they got
Didn't
blown
they
away
get?
by the
Didn't they
Blues.
get beat up by a rookie goaltender
And
in the
and
playoffs?
I suggest a PED test of the Blues last year.
I suggest a test of Brad Marchand right now.
Sir, you can't. It's not going to come back a human test. That's your problem.
And I bet you that, I bet you that Chara was on a ton of drugs last year, playing with a broken jaw. You
Dude,
want PED
you
tests?
know
He's
my
out of the
opinion
game.
on Chara the last year and a half in hockey. He's like, he hasn't been physical. Yeah, he's used his long reach to take pucks away from things and make some key plays, but the guy is like worn down, man. Like obviously after this season, he's got to be retiring. Like, come on.
Speaking of retiring, as of yesterday, MDA player Vince Carter effectively announced his retirement, or 2 days ago, I think it was actually. Just wanted to, congratulate him on his career. Only NBA player to play through 4 decades. He played in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020. So, pretty interesting. Set the record for most seasons played in. And again, like I said, only player in the NBA's history to play 4 decades. But he's effectively retired. So, also interesting fact, there's only one player left in the Big Four sports of the United States that's still playing in the Big Four sports of the United States since before Patrick and myself were born. That is Indianapolis Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri. He is a free agent. He is not on a team. The streak might end soon, which would leave Yager as the only guy left, but he's not playing in America anymore. So, but again, Bruins will choke. I guarantee it.
Nah, put it this way. When you say choke, you just mean what? Lose the playoffs and not win the Stanley Cup? Or are you referring to getting swept somehow by a team? Because
They're gonna lose in the playoffs. They're not winning the cup.
I don't know, man. Honestly, it all depends how all these teams start playing. Like, I mean, yeah, there's a
It's
chance all the
always
really
gonna be
good
rusty.
teams, like the Bruins, Penguins, Flyers, could all play like garbage, and then somehow all the underdogs get up to the final, and then the final ends up being like the Rangers and the freaking Blackhawks. Like, what the hell? They're not going to sell out any of those online viewing tickets on pay-per-view. That's
Rangers and
ridiculous.
Blackhawks. Dude, Rangers and Blackhawks was just 2012.
And then when the Blackhawks get to the final, they'll be like, "All right, hold on, let's bring up this logo to attention, people. Look at this Blackhawks look." Like it's ridiculous, dude.
Don't get me started.
Like there's even, we can talk about that another time, but
Don't get me started on that. History of video 2 weeks out will be about the Cleveland MLB team. I will not be saying the team nickname that they have to the best of my ability.
it's definitely not the Alamos.
Oh my god.
Cleveland. Oh my God.
Can you imagine being a Cleveland fan?
Oh God. Just think, like they
Only
lost
thing worse.
LeBron, they got LeBron, they got a champion, they lost LeBron again.
The only team to be worse, like the only city that's worse than them is Detroit. Boom, roasted.
Wait, then which team?
Detroit's worse than Cleveland as a city for sports at the moment.
I mean, do they both have like every single team pretty much? They both have a. They don't.
Detroit
There's no
set the
hockey
record.
team in Cleveland besides an AHL
Detroit
team.
set the record last year for most combined losses from the Big Four sports teams.
In
Because
what? In a
literally,
single season or in a
in a
single
single
year?
season, in like a single year, single calendar year, Detroit set the record for most losses in a
Who
single
led it
city.
before? Who led it before the?
I don't even know.
Obviously,
Probably
it
Chicago.
was a city that has to have like what the basic four sports or something.
It's either Chicago, Philly, maybe maybe LA. I don't know. Probably Chicago. I'd have to look. But maybe Buffalo.
No, it couldn't have been
They don't got
Buffalo.
enough
Buffalo
cities.
only has a hockey team and a football team. They don't even have a. I would think it
They
would be in
had a
the
basketball
category
team.
of having like all the
They
basketball,
had a
football,
basketball team.
hockey, and
I think they
baseball
had a
team.
baseball team at one point. Let's see. It was New York. New York held the record. They had 219 combined losses in the year of 1962. Detroit saw 226, so they broke the record. Detroit, the four Detroit teams combined to go 114, 226, and 1. Ooh, oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, they can only go up from here, like I said, so hopefully.
Yeah, and Boston can only go down from here, so it's okay.
They
The
won't go
world will be
down, man.
the world will be a better place soon. Don't worry.
They won't go down, sir. Mr. Boston hater. Like, well, at least we can both say we're not fans of, like,
Pittsburgh,
the
Washington.
Dolphins. Or Tampa Bay. I mean, they got swept last year by a team that barely made it in the playoffs. And they got the Buccaneers. I don't think they're
Do
going to get
they?
anywhere with Brady. Even though they got Gronk.
I'll do a video about the Buccaneers at some point.
Can the Rangers win the Cup and get
I think it's
first? Because
possible.
they got Carolina first.
Is the if the Cants first round pick is protected? No.
That's a no. Hey, here's a
Uh,
question. Can the Cants beat the Rangers in this round? I mean, obviously, looking at the stats and how the Rangers won all the games against Carolina this season up until now, obviously, Rangers should get this. I mean, they're playing a best of five, correct? So
in the first round, yes.
it could literally potentially be a sweep by the Rangers over Carolina, which wouldn't be surprising after last year was kind of like a luck kind of year. I mean, obviously they weren't expected to beat the Capitals. Somehow blew through the Islanders. Rangers kind of want to get revenge on all their success that whole last run last year.
No, hang on. When did they give up their? No, hang on. When did the Rangers get the Hurricanes' first round pick? I don't think they do. Because I know that the Ducks get the Bruins from the Kasha trade. Obviously, the Sharks are losing their pick to the Senators. Ah. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Okay.
Brady Shea trade. Oh yeah, I forgot. He like barely has played any games with Carolina. And Vatanen hasn't even played a single game with Carolina. It's talking about trades.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't think that the Cants have a chance against the Rangers. I think, especially since the Rangers have time to heal, they're getting their star back, broke his foot, you know. I think the Rangers are just. I think the Cants might be able to steal a game, but I think the Rangers are going to win the series 3-1.
Yeah, either 3-1 or 3-0 to be honest. It's definitely not going to be a 5 game series, put it that way.
In which case, yes, it is possible for the Rangers to win the Cup and have the first overall pick.
Andrew says he thinks the Canes have a decent chance. I mean, anybody has a shot, but
Hurricanes have a shot. Canadiens have a shot. I mean, anyone's a shot right now. Are they the best youngest team? I mean, yeah, I
in the
hate to say it, but the
If you're
Canucks
looking
are
at
good.
the Eastern Conference, probably yeah.
Flyers got a young team. I was hoping to get trash for that on you saying, "Oh wait, they got Voracek and Giroux." What are you talking about young? Flyers have a young core, that's for sure.
It'll be interesting. This will be
I
interesting for
mean,
sure.
I'll take the Rangers over a couple of teams in the West easily.
Some Blackhawks.
I don't think they have the ability. I think here's the thing: the Rangers' biggest nightmare is going to be the Flyers, because right now how the Flyers are built versus how the Rangers are built, the Flyers will beat the Rangers. We saw it this season when they swept the season series against the Rangers. I think Pittsburgh did pretty damn well against the Rangers too, but they also played the Rangers earlier in the season when the Rangers were slumping. The Flyers played them. The Flyers ended the Rangers' hot streak. So that if I'm a Rangers fan, I'm scared of the Flyers. I'm a Flyers fan, so I'm scared of the Lightning. I'm scared of the Lightning, and the Lightning are scared of whoever. Like the Lightning just choke all the time. Rangers do have the bright future though. That's for damn sure. Yeah, if you guys play the Bruins, I'll root for you 100% in that series.
Nope,
Unless you
go
knock out my
Bruins.
Flyers to play the Bruins.
Bruins will at least get to the finals. What I'm predicting.
You're a Bruins fan, man. Your opinion's biased.
You're a Flyers fan. Your opinion's biased too. Somehow you think they're gonna get past the first official round after this play-in garbage.
Oh, okay, okay. I see what's going on here. I don't know if they do though, because literally the day after the official lockdown was started, the Flyers were supposed to play at Tampa Bay, and Tampa took the first two games of the series against the Flyers, or the first game. I don't remember if they played one or two. So Tampa is undefeated against the Flyers. I think they're 2-0. So that game was going to be big, crucial, and then it obviously got canceled. So now we got the whole play-in thing. And during the play-in round, remember the top four teams in the East and the West do their little round robin. So the Flyers will be playing the Lightning, the Bruins, and the Capitals. I'm not too scared of Washington. Philly did pretty well against them. They went 3-1 against them, and they killed them in that one game. I hope they put Samsonov in goal because that'll help Philly. They had his number more than Holtby. But it's going to be an interesting year. It's going to be interesting playoffs. I agree with you. I think that the young goalies will be key this year. I mean, we saw it last year with Binnington carrying the team. It's definitely possible. I think Carter Hart is a guy who's really, really just. Obviously, I'm biased, Flyers fan, like you said. I do have a bias. I think Carter Hart's one of the better goalies. I think if I'm a Bruins fan, I'm a little scared of having Tuukka Rask in goal right now because he's older, so he's not used to playing this time. No one's used to playing in July, but he himself, he's been working for years and years and years. And him and Volevsky, they're set in their ways. Carter Hart's young. Samsonov's young. These guys are going to be more able to get into the routine, in my view, than these older, proven veterans. Which is why I'm a little scared of, Lundqvist if I'm a Rangers fan.
I was gonna say that's interesting because Liam mentions Shesterkin, the guy that was called up from Hartford, obviously, and like this guy's playing like obviously he's playing way more than Lundqvist and stuff, and like this guy's looking bright future in terms of the Rangers organization. But like you just said, like there's so many questions raised with Lundqvist right now, and obviously his age, and yeah, everybody thinks he's gonna retire right after the end of this year.
He's probably going to retire. If not, he has
Because
one more year. He's got the cups. He's got the cup. No, never mind. He doesn't.
yeah,
He
well, I was
didn't.
about to say which cup does he have? Because they lost in the 2013 what was the final they lost to was the Kings they lost to in 2014 or 2012?
2013, 2014 season, I think. If not, it was the 2012-13.
No,
But
2013 is when the Bruins lost to the Blackhawks. The
that
2014 I think
was
it was.
that was 20. That was yeah, that was 2013. Right.
But
Hey Liam, here I am a Flyers fan. I like Alain Vigneault, but I didn't watch a lot of hockey. I didn't specifically Rangers. So, what's your opinion on Vigneault? Like, do you think he was a good coach for you guys? Do you regret getting rid of him? I know it was kind of time. He had a little bit of older ways with a couple things, and he's kind of evolved. But yeah, I definitely do think the Rangers have a bright future. Obviously, been watching a lot of these guys in Hartford play well. One guy who I'm really miss watching is Ryan Callahan back in the day. Loved watching that guy play. Very good fan favorite. Dane Byers too, another big time fan favorite. This you can kind of date us at this point, but figure out when I would go to all these games. It was like the 2005 through 8, and Callahan and Byers were two of my favorite players. Nigel Dawes, another big time player in that time frame. These guys didn't pan out in the NHL, but it's interesting. And then I wanted to see if Kappa would play in Hartford, but I don't think he did. I think he just made the jump right to the NHL. So
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed. I was hoping to see him play in Hartford. Yeah, yeah, that's part of what I heard. He was kind of dead set in his ways for a couple stupid things, and you know, Stahl and Holden just. I remember watching some of the highlights of that series, and I'm just thinking, what in the. You could tell the two of them just didn't have chemistry, and he was so insistent on putting the two of them together for whatever reason. But speaking of the Senators, oh, the fall from grace that they had. They friggin' make the Eastern Conference Finals, and now 2 years later, they're complete garbage. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know about Senators. I mean, obviously the Senators, there's, I mean, other problems besides their performance, and everybody says it's because of the whole ownership problem with Mr. Melnick and all this garbage. And
You know what, man? We'll take the Senators and Hartford right away. Send them down to
honestly,
Hartford.
bro,
I will get
no, I
season
mean,
tickets. I will become a Hartford fan.
screw
I will
that.
ditch the Flyers.
Screw that. Lamont needs to put bids up for the Florida Panthers because,
Barkov basically said, yeah, but
honestly,
I'd say I'm a Flyers fan, but if a team comes back to Hartford and becomes the Whalers, I will ditch the Flyers in a second. I've said it before, so when I say I'm a Flyers fan, that's what I mean. I'm a Whalers fan first. Flyers are my team right now, though. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the problem is Holden just wasn't able to do it, and Stahl's more. He tries to be too much of an offensive threat when he isn't good on offense. Like, he's not his brother's, obviously. That's why he's a defensive player, not offense, not a wing like his brother or center, like his other brother. And you know, they didn't pair well together. They would get beat every single time. They wouldn't be on assignment. They didn't communicate or something or another. Another question for you, Liam. It's out of curiosity. Do you follow any other sport other than hockey, just so I can, talk a little more New York sports with you? Because it's always fun to do that. Or New Jersey, technically, if you're a fan of the Giants or the Jets.
nobody
Technically.
cares about the Devils. Let's be honest.
Well, if he's a Rangers fan, well, he's not a Devils fan.
It's just sad. I like there's more of a rivalry, obviously, between the Rangers and Islanders, and besides the Devils, because Rangers and Islanders each have 6 cups, and the Devils have one.
Ooh, boy, Giants fan. See, I'm an Eagles fan, but, our fans don't really care for each other, but I have no problem with Giants fans. You guys have been very respectful. Um, I'm in Connecticut, obviously, and when the Eagles played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, every single Giants fan I know came up to me and said, "I wish you luck. I'm rooting for you guys in the Super Bowl." I rooted for them in their Super Bowls against the Patriots. Mets. I'll let Patrick answer the Mets question. I know he loves the Mets.
F the Mets, bro. All right, no offense. No, I'm just kidding. But it's interesting because one of my cousins lives on Long Island. I don't know if you live on Long Island or you live in New York State, but he's a. Cause it's interesting how the fan bases work, like in New York area. Cause so he's a Knicks fan. He's also a Mets fan, but he's a Jets fan, not a Giants fan. It's so interesting because obviously they play at the same place and everything, but yeah, it seems like everybody around there likes. Yeah, but he's a huge Mets fan. Obviously, he's been to numerous games. I've seen DeGrom and other Mets stars and stuff in person. Been to Citi Field, And then his father, which is my uncle, has been obviously to games at the old Shea Stadium before it was torn down in 2008 or 2009. Might have been 2009. But yeah, so
Ooh,
I know a
I
lot
got
of
one
New
for
York
you.
sports fans. Yeah, go ahead.
Quick ranking here of
Ranking.
the best three NL East first basemen. We're going to completely ignore the Nationals since it's technically Ryan Zimmerman, and the Marlins are so irrelevant. But of the three NL East first basemen that are left there, Rhys Hoskins, Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman. If you had to rank the three in order right now, how would you rank them?
You said Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman, and Rhys Hoskins. I mean,
Yes.
unbiased, it would
Yes.
be Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman, and Rhys Hoskins.
See, what's interesting is I would actually put Freddie over Pete, and then Rhys Hoskins is last. I like Freddie Freeman. He's more of a leader at this point, and you know, I don't want to offend you, Liam, but I'm not gonna be shocked if Pete Alonso is found to have used steroids. Just the fact that he came out of nowhere last year. I hope he doesn't. I hope he didn't. I hope it doesn't happen because it's always you never like to see a young star go down with a stupid steroid claim or something like that. But all it takes is that one test, and all of a sudden your career's over. Unless your name's David Ortiz, then you get off the hook.
Hey,
Boom, shots fired at David Ortiz.
that's another video, sir.
Yeah, about the Knicks though, I don't necessarily follow the basketball that much. I know that you guys had a good no, never mind.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Same can be said about Aaron Judge for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, exactly, because the Yankees probably would just bribe the officials and say, "Don't say anything. Here's millions of
See,
dollars. Don't say
that's
anything."
exactly what the problem is with successful teams like the Yankees that have so much money.
And throw money away, and the poor Mets. I was rooting for you guys in the 2015 World Series. One of my coworkers, I had just started a job, and I was talking to this one guy, and he's a big Mets fan, and we were talking baseball. He's like, "Yeah, I'm so excited about the Mets," and I remember going, "Oh man, this is going to be a good World Series," and I was rooting for the Mets. I like to see the NL win, unless it's a couple teams. How you doing, How you doing, Caden? But yeah, the Mets. My first real taste of following baseball on my own because my dad's a Tigers fan, my mom's a Yankees fan, so I would kind of just follow the AL. Is when I started following the Phillies, and it happened to be the '07 season when the Mets collapsed, and the Phillies ended up winning the NL East because of the Mets collapse. So I've always just had the Mets in the back of my mind as like a second tier team, and it's also kind of true because the Yankees are the team in the city of New York. It's kind of too bad because the Mets have had some good years. I mean, they got the Subway Series. What was that, '98? When they lost, but um, it's
Wait,
just
real quick, Caden, I see what's going on. If you mind just telling us, what's your favorite sports teams or what teams do you follow and where you're from, so we can just get more added to the convo. But go ahead and continue. Yeah.
you know what. Here's a good one. Uh, do you think that the Giancarlo Stanton trade was a good trade for the Yankees?
Mm, yes,
Yeah,
I would say so. Or why? What are you thinking?
I think the contract hurts him more than the trade.
I mean, hold on one second. How old is he?
He's like 30, 31. I just
Oh,
love
really?
you
I
look at
didn't
like
think it was that
old
old.
games
Oh,
and
he's
stuff.
30. Yeah, yeah.
I just remember like I have a baseball card from him from like his second year in the league, and I was looking through some of these old cards I found, and it said Mike Stanton. I'm like, who the heck is Mike Stanton? And then
Yep.
it clicked to me. I'm like, wait, that's right. Giancarlo Stanton
Yep.
used to be Mike Stanton back in the day. So sometimes if I'm talking like if I know somebody's like a casual baseball fan or something, or if they're like a big Marlins fan, I'll intentionally say Mike Stanton just to get them mad or confuse them. It's just fun.
Man, dude, how is the score 19-12? This is ridiculous. This is currently not statistically possible with these two teams, first of all. But
You know what I was just thinking too about the Mets. Noah Syndergaard, done for the year. Obviously, got to get Tommy John. That's unfortunate. Thor is one heck of a pitcher. But then I started thinking about Matt Harvey. Oh man, what could have been? You guys had such a good rotation when you have, Syndergaard, DeGrom, Harvey, and Wheeler. Wheeler, he needed Tommy John. He fell off a cliff. He comes back like 2 years later, but now he's gone. Now he's in Philly. Harvey, what the heck happened to Matt Harvey, man? Again, from the state of Connecticut, it's too bad. Like, I don't know what the heck happened to him. I saw him in, what was he, in Cincy in 2018. Last year, he was like irrelevant. He was either in the minors or overseas. Um, yeah. Yeah, Stanton needs to stay healthy. Like, that's the problem. That's why, if I'm running a baseball team, I wouldn't fit in as a manager, as a general manager today, because I don't really care. I wouldn't. I'd be one of those guys who'd be, trying to get small ball back into play. I'd be throwing more money at my pitching staff than my hitters. I'd be trying to get a lot of, elite defense and strong, like, power hitting or, like, contact batters. I'd rather have a guy hit 320 with, 50 stolen bases than a guy hit 220 with 50 home runs. That's just how my strategy would be because the stolen bases guys, yeah, injuries are a big risk no matter what, but I'd much rather have Jose Altuve over Giancarlo Stanton. It's kind of obviously Altuve is a more rounded player, but it's just how I am. Like, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name right now. I gotta pull it up real quick. Um, I'm Nick Madrigal of the Chicago White Sox is one of my favorite players, and obviously he's never played in baseball, professional MLB. But he's a guy who looks like he has the tools to be a 300 plus hitter with elite stolen base, elite defense. Like he's a guy I'd be trying to build my franchise around. And nowadays, everyone's trying to build franchises around these power hitters, like Giancarlo Stanton. I'm very interested to see how this universal DH is going to work for the 2020 season. Here we are, we're all NL fans. The three of us, not Andrew. You're an AL fan, with the Tigers, but the other three of us here, we're NL fans, and it's going to be interesting. Obviously my Phillies are in a good advantage. The DH is going to be something useful. We can put Jay Bruce there, or give Harper a day off from the field, throw him in the DH spot. Hoskins, same thing. It's going to be interesting. Um, will it be a permanent adaptation? I don't know. Part of me hopes it is, part of me hopes it isn't. That's a good video topic for another day. Should the NL implement the DH permanently? It's something that you can easily debate, and I like having the NL not have the DH because what it does is encourage pitchers to come to the National League and hitters to go to the American League. So typically you'll see like the AL teams have better batting averages. I mean, that's kind of going to be a given when about 1/18th of your at bats, 1/12th of your at bats are a pitcher. But it kind of helps like teams sign pitchers if you're in the National League. So it's kind of cool. Like Scherzer, for example, when he left Detroit, he went to the Nationals. Using him as an example, Madison Bumgarner, he probably took a little bit less money to stay in the NL when he went to the Diamondbacks this past offseason. Speaking of this past offseason, I do intend on doing an MLB free agency recap video. That will be either next week or the week after that. It will be before, ideally before like spring training 2.0 starts. Spring being in parentheses there, because it's not really spring anymore. But yeah, once the simulated game here ends, I think that we'll be ending the stream. Just for
Yeah,
anybody who's
probably.
interested, if you got any questions, definitely feel free to ask us before the stream ends, because we'd hate to cut you off.
Maybe we'll do
And
more than one, depending on your work schedule. Maybe we can try to do at least maybe. I mean, obviously we do one live stream a week, but maybe we can go up to two if work schedules permit.
that's gonna be the big tough one there. I might be rearranging my work schedule a little bit. I have to talk to a couple people and everything like that. I got to see my one coworker there, but there's a chance that I might be taking Tuesdays off. So, Stanley Cup pick for 2020. So we actually do have a video up where we predicted Stanley Cup champions, and
That's actually one of the first few videos.
that was like about 3 or 4 weeks ago when we did that one, and I said Tampa Bay. Do I still think Tampa Bay is going to win? It's going to be tough. I mean, with the restructure and everything like that, with the reseeding after the first round, um, I still got to stand with Tampa Bay. I think no matter what, the winner's going to be from the East. I think there's a shot for Edmonton. I had Edmonton winning the West versus Tampa in the East, and I had Boston kind of choking in the first round, or not the first round, but like the Eastern Conference Finals or the round before that, quarterfinals, semifinals. You know, I still think Tampa has a good shot this year, but you know they do have the young, talented goaltender in Bolevsky. It's going to be close. I'll probably end up doing. We probably will end up doing another video. You know, especially after the play-in round's done, we'll probably do another video discussing that. And we'll do like the actual seeds, and we'll look at it and we'll dissect it and we'll kind of talk about it again. But yeah, I do think I have to stick with Tampa Bay at this point in time. But I do think I can easily see Philadelphia winning. I can see Boston winning, and I can see Edmonton winning. And I could see Vegas doing good as well.
I think my Western Final, I think my Western Final was two Canadian teams, wasn't it?
You had
The Jets
you had
and the
Edmonton.
Flames. Oh no, it was the.
Was it the Flames?
I have to look at the thing. So the Western Final, it was the Flames and the Oilers, right? Was it? I have to look
I
back
think
at
that's
the
what you
video.
had.
Because I said Chicago lost to Edmonton. Nashville beat the Coyotes. Minnesota beat the Canucks. Flames.
Man, I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I would love to
But
see the Flyers. I'd love to see the Flyers in the Cup final.
I'll wait another 20 years for that. Thank you. But you never know. I mean, look what last year St. Louis won the Cup, so any team can do it.
I'd be a little scared if it's a Flyers Oilers Cup.
I don't
I
think
think
the Blues will win it. I can't say I can't think that though. You never know.
I mean they're getting Tarasenko back,
I
but
know that's the thing. The fact that we got like these 3 or 4 months off, like all the players are healthy pretty much now, unless they're not coming back because they're over, like they don't want to come back. You know, you heard about that, right?
yeah, a few guys are going to say they don't want to come back.
Or
But you know,
or they just So like,
I mean, if Oscar Lindblom comes back for Philly, I think Philly's going to win the Cup.
yo, you saw he
I
was
think they're
skating the
gonna.
other day, right?
He was skating the other day, and obviously he's not clear for contact yet. He's still got a month to do it. And let's just say the Flyers can win the first round of the playoffs, and then you're in a best-of-7 series. If Lindblom can come back, even if he's a healthy scratch, I think that that's going to just give the team so much morale that the Flyers will be unstoppable. Because, you know, to have him come back from cancer and win, that would be amazing. And, of course, you're getting JVR back 100% now. His broken hand's been healed for a couple months at this point. But it's going to be a really good one. This Stanley Cup playoffs are going to be great. I definitely want to watch as much hockey as I can. once we get to it. I'm gonna try to talk to my boss and be like, "Hey, can I only work mornings so I can watch all the hockey games? I don't want to work nights. I
I
want to
mean,
watch
I got a
all
set
the hockey."
schedule, so we would have to see. But what we got left here? A minute, a little over a minute in the game.
Look at the score though,
I
20 to
know, right?
13.
I'm just gonna, subtract 10 from
Subtract
each
33
team.
goals from the total, and that's about a little more accurate. But yeah, Liam, if you are interested, definitely feel free to check back in with us. We do live stream every either Friday or Saturday. It's typically going to be more at night. It's going to be more Fridays at the moment, from what I know. So if you do want to, definitely feel free to come back. We discuss a lot more hockey and baseball, since Patrick and I both cover hockey and baseball a lot, and then I cover more football. He covers NASCAR type of thing. So if you're a hockey baseball guy, definitely look into it. Feel free to like the video type of thing. I don't want to, try to pressure you into doing that kind of stuff, but
I mean, you can always, obviously by subscribing and the notification stuff or following the main social media account, which would be like the Twitter, where, Eric posts about most videos going up, and also when we upload them, I post most of them to the Twitter as well. So, I just realized. So, like, we're live on YouTube for another few moments here. It says we're playing. Why does it say the game we're playing is NHL 16? How did it get that confused? The PS4 must have got messed up or something. But that's weird.
oh jeez, that's so bad. I don't know.
And that is the game.
That is the game, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have any other last second questions, drop them very
A
quickly,
few
otherwise we
moments.
won't be able to answer them. But Patrick and I didn't figure out what our schedule is going to be for next week. We try to have it ready for the live stream, but we were both kind of busier today. We had other things going on, so we'll once the live stream's over, we're going to discuss it. We'll figure it out, and we'll post it tomorrow, so you guys can know. It'll be on the Instagram and the Twitter pages, which are of course at Heartland Sports and Heartland Sports, respectively, with a Z instead of the S at the end for sports. So yeah. Other than that, any last words, Patrick, today?
Not really. Still can't believe we got the number one.
Oh my
That's all I'm gonna
gosh,
say.
dude.
But yeah. So
All I'm gonna say is I'm sorry, Detroit fans. You guys got completely screwed over in the lottery. But hey, at least at least Ottawa didn't get the first pick.
yeah, true. So all right, but that will do it for us here. And like I said, there'll be videos up tomorrow, and we'll have the schedule out tomorrow for the upcoming videos next week. So thanks for watching. I enjoyed it. It was fun, and we'll see you guys later.